Hey Cameron, we're going to take a little bit of a field trip today. All right, we have arrived at Crown Hill Cemetery, where as you can see the weather, unlike your candle, is not autumnal. Probably because it's January. I remember coming here in elementary school on a field trip, which in hindsight may be a little weird, but I enjoyed it then, and I still enjoy it now. Crown Hill is the 5th largest cemetery in the United States, and has many notable people planted amongst its 550 acres, including notorious gangster and bank robber John Dillinger. We have a president in the collection of the deceased, good old President Harrison, and up here on what is named the Crown is James Whitcomb Riley. This is the highest point in the city of Indianapolis, with a population of 1 deceased poet. But as you can see, there are many thousands more people that are buried here than these few notable people. I'm not a particularly religious person, so I don't have any religious direction on what to do with my body after I go. Burial is a fairly common option. In fact, a majority of these tombstones have people lying down underneath them. But these people have had their bodies drained and preserved. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm not an Egyptian pharaoh, and therefore don't see the need to preserve my body for thousands of years. I very highly doubt that it will ever be used for anything again. Plus, if I'm going to buy the single most expensive piece of furniture that I'll ever own, I'd rather that be something I buy while I'm alive and can actually enjoy it. And I don't plan on buying a coffin like 20 years early and sleeping in it like I'm a vampire. Although that does sound like fun. The nice thing about burial, though, is the tombstone. Not for me, but because I believe the things you do after you die aren't for you. Instead, it's for the people that are surviving you. Keanu Reeves said in an interview with Stephen Colbert years ago, when Stephen asked him what he thinks happens after we die, Keanu said, "I know the ones who love us will miss us." And the tombstone gives a nice place for those who love us to visit and remember us, to hopefully ease the missing. Now, cremation. Sounds nice. Being burned into ash, no longer taking up a lot of space. However, burning your body releases a ton of CO2 into the atmosphere, which I view as a problematic way to go out. If possible, I'd like my last thing I do with my body to not be contributing more to the greenhouse effect than I already have. So what would I like? I would like to be composted. In recent years, there has been a small but growing movement for composting human remains, where your body is combined with wood chips and composted for a few months, and then at the end you end up with a few hundred pounds of good compost. Minimal, if any, CO2 emissions, which is great, and then my remains can be used to grow something. So what is my dream? It's to be composted, and to then have a sycamore tree or a white oak tree be planted right here in Crown Hill Cemetery using my remains. That way my loved ones can visit a big beautiful tree to remember me, and my body will go to good use, back to the earth where it belongs, providing nutrients to a tree that will help reclaim at least some of the CO2 that I've contributed to our atmosphere. There is one problem with this, though. It's not legal in Indiana, yet. I'm hoping it will become legal in the coming years. If it doesn't, though, I'll have a bit of a project lobbying for it, which isn't something I necessarily want to do. Oh, and I'll have to convince the fine folks of Crown Hill Cemetery to let me be a tree for a few hundred years. Alas, there is still work to do, and hopefully I get plenty of time to do it.